Welcome back to the Vandy Sports Podcast. I'm Joey Dwyer. He's Billy Derrick. We're here from Memorial Gym after Vanderbilt's storybook 79-78 win over Florida on Senior Day. Tyron Lawrence said it best. He couldn't have drawn it up any better, and he wasn't all that great. He was 0 for 5 in the first half, didn't score in the first half, which I think shocked Jerry Stackhouse to hear. Shot 18 shots, but when it mattered most, it was Tyron Lawrence who delivered with his 1,000th career point. He said maybe the most dramatic 1,000th career point of all time, but it was a steal, and he put Vanderbilt ahead when it really mattered. Thank you to the Wash House for allowing us to be here and provide coverage like this on a game-to-game basis. Again, we're really appreciative of what they've done for us throughout all basketball season, so go check them out. But Billy, I don't know that I had Vanderbilt winning that game on my bingo card after Florida beat Vanderbilt by 13 in Gainesville a few weeks ago and led from the 6-minute mark on in the first half by double digits. Vanderbilt was never in striking distance in that game. Stack mentioned it too, and maybe he read my story because that was one of the leads, was that Ezra Magnon turning it over on the first possession of that game was one of the signs that that game wasn't going to be in hand really at all, or wasn't going to be close. But again, completely different story today, Billy. 12 lead changes, and Vanderbilt finds a way to win in a way that I think only Ezra Magnon and Tyron Lawrence have managed over the last couple of years.
We both would have gotten killed in bingo today. We didn't have a lot of what happened today on our bingo cards. Ezra Magnon having under 10 points and Vanderbilt winning against Florida, a team that's going to be a 6th seed in the SEC tournament. And, they knew this Florida team was really good coming into today. They lost to Florida, what was it, almost 2 weeks ago by 13, right? Yeah. And that game really wasn't competitive. So coming into today, I knew it was going to be closer and more competitive. It's the last home game of the season, and last hurrah for Ezra Magnon, potentially Tyron Lawrence. You saw they calling it Graduates Day today. Look, I'm not stunned, Joey, and I told you I had a weird feeling that a win could happen today, and they could pull it out. I think this gym, and somebody said it on our board, this old place still has a little bit of magic. And I know there's fans that are looking at this and saying, what next? This creates even more questions about the state of the program. But at the end of the day, happy for a guy like Ezra Magnon, even Tyron Lawrence, getting to 1,000, not having the stress of waiting till the SEC tournament to potentially get there. And he did have a pretty funny answer, actually 2 funny answers. Ari asked him about it, I think, and he was just, that was probably the wildest way to get your 1,000th point. And then I asked him, you knew you needed 14 today, right? And he was like, yeah, that's probably why I couldn't hit a shot early on. So, good win, honestly. Great win for this team. Get your 4th SEC win of the season. And Stack said it, even though it has been a tough season, you saw growth from J.Q. Roberts and even Malik Presley. And, a lot of people scored today. I thought Paul Lewis struggled, but, you had everybody else that played scored. So, I think originally before this season, today's game could have been a microcosm of what this team could have been. But you had the injury to Colin Smith, you had the situation with Lee Dort, and this team just never could have, never responded. They did today, and credit to them. And maybe they have momentum heading into Nashville. We'll see what happens, but things change fast, Joey, and everything sort of shifted a little bit today.
Yeah, that was kind of my ending point of my story. Things change fast, and between this game and Gainesville, perhaps that could change some things long term. I don't know. I would hope that a game like this, whether they're thinking one way or another, doesn't change that. I think that would be a little shallow of them. But Billy, the thing I looked at, and you look at that box score, Florida outshot Vandy 51.7% from the field to 35.5, and Vanderbilt won. What was the last time you saw a game like that? I don't know if I've ever seen a game like that.
It was pretty close throughout. I mean, Florida had the edge there early for a lot of the first half, but I think it was big. Vanderbilt cut it to 8 at half?
7, yeah.
Or 7, and then second half was pretty close. Todd Golden wasn't happy after the game. We got a chance to talk to him. His length of answer compared to Stack's was a lot shorter, but that usually happens when you win as compared to when you lose. And he wasn't happy. He just said, it's tough. He had some pretty short answers, so you can see it was tough for them. They wanted to win, but they were locked into the 6th seed either way, so it didn't matter a ton for Florida. Might drop their net down.
Might drop them on the seed in the
few spots, maybe a seed in the tournament. So, but at the end of the day, I was ultimately pretty surprised that Vanderbilt kept it as close as they did, shooting as poorly as they did.
Yeah, something about Florida coming to this gym has really just killed them.
Yeah,
really, like last
against
year,
Vanderbilt in general, really. Yeah.
Last year they came in here and they were right on the bubble. Vanderbilt beats them and essentially plays spoiler for their entire season and kind of ends things for him tonight. Probably drops Florida a seed or so, because Vanderbilt's a terrible loss in any resume.
Oh, yeah.
And they're better than a lot of the teams around them in the net, at least. And in theory they are, but they're ranked outside
this
the 200s?
could drop them, 10 spots potentially, you think? Maybe not that far?
Yeah, something like that. But back to the rebounding thing, J.Q. Roberts, 7 offensive rebounds on
all
7.
of them, yeah.
Yeah, on 7 rebounds total. I don't know the last time I've seen that. It took kind of an outlier in some ways for Vanderbilt to win, but again, this was what it was going to need to be. It was going to need to be Lawrence stepping up when it really mattered, even though he wasn't awesome. It was going to need to be them hitting free throws, which they didn't do. Stack mentioned in Gainesville. I think that moment was a little too big for them, and they didn't turn it over a whole lot today. They just did a lot of things right, and we didn't even mention Vanderbilt that much. He had 25 and 11, tied for his career high. I thought he was excellent, and they have good bigs. They don't have great bigs. Samuel's good. The guy from Marshall's good, but Billy, Van Allen Lubin, I think, was a lot better than both of them today. Yeah,
I think the problem with Florida today, and again, I don't want to discredit Vanderbilt, but I do think it was some of Florida's really late mistakes. They turned the ball over. They didn't convert. They didn't get any stops late. Right. I mean, I think I saw a stat. Vanderbilt scored on almost all of their last 7 or 8 possessions or something crazy like that. So Vanderbilt, I mean, credit to them. They got hot and they were making shots. But Florida couldn't get any stops, and that's why Golden was so frustrated. He knew they should have had this game. They're better than Vanderbilt, but it's basketball, it's March, and you never know. But yeah, there were some anomalies today, some statistical anomalies that you kind of look at and you go, how is Vanderbilt in this game? But credit to the coaching staff. I thought they had a decent scout today, and they ran some good stuff. And I think at the end of the day, Joey, you look at the end, and honestly, in the Stackhouse era, in the month of March, he's 16 and 11, but in January he's 3 and 7 and 31. 7 and 31, not 3. I was gonna say 70 something. 7 and 31 in January, and 16 and 11 in March. And that's not even a great March record, but it's almost been good enough to where you build some momentum late in these seasons. They did it in year 3. I think they did it in last year in year 4, and they're sort of doing it again this year. Not to the extent, in a way. You got the 13 seed, so we'll see what happens. Again, I don't think this should change the overall perception too much. We'll see what happens. This could be an interesting 2 weeks. It also could not. I mean, maybe it's going to be an interesting next year. We'll see. But again, credit to the team. And at the end of the day, Florida didn't play very well pretty late. I thought they just kind of folded there in the last 2 to 3 minutes. And that kind of gave way for Vanderbilt. But yeah, Van Allen Lubin, I think, got to be your MVP. Another double-double, I think, matched a career high. He started hitting some more threes, too. 2 for 5 from deep. I don't think you would have expected that either. And he talked deeply about his development this year and kind of changing his game and, just kind of turning himself into a better player. I think he has. I mean, I think you'd say that, too. I think a lot of people would. So, yeah, and then another thing was Ezra Manjon having an off night and them still winning, and Ven talked about that too. We've got some good players. We just need more guys to step up, and who knows, Joey, if they get that, maybe they can make a run in Nashville. They're in their hometown. They played well there last year, but I don't know that there's a ton of reason to believe that'll happen. But who knows? Tonight could be a little bit of a catalyst.
Yeah, I don't think you can really look at the season any differently after tonight. This has still been a crappy year in just about every facet for this team. They finished 8 and 10 in Memorial, and it probably could have been worse than that if they hadn't scheduled some bad teams like Dartmouth, and they lost to some bad teams here as well. But it wasn't a great year for them by any stretch in the regular season.
Fact, yeah,
far from
he
that.
Knows that. He admitted that. Yeah,
but it was a really nice way for those older guys to go out, and I think this is going to be a completely different roster next year. Some of that's going to be guys getting forced out, whether that's by Stack, whether that's by a new coach. It's going to be guys leaving because they're unhappy with certain things. And I think even after today, there's a lot to be unhappy with as a Vanderbilt fan, as a Vanderbilt player. But having this kind of win that sends out these guys at this gym in front of one of their better crowds of the year, I think, is something you can maybe not build on a whole lot. Maybe you can build on it for the next couple of days. But I think it's something that you look back on and you love to see that Ezra Manjon and Tyron Lawrence have kind of a memory like that after just such a crappy season as a whole.
Yeah, I do want to point out, Joey, it's been fun at Memorial. Our next rapid reaction is going to be at Bridgestone.
Yeah, we're going to have to figure out where to do it.
Maybe on Broadway.
I mean, so they're going to play the first game presumably against Arkansas or Georgia. Stack said Arkansas, or insinuated. I don't think it's set, but we're certainly not going to be able to do it here.
No.
Because there's going to be a game, and Billy, I think we're a little small to be getting hit by a guy running off the floor. But
we'll find some space. But at the end of the day, Vanderbilt will play Wednesday, the first game.
First
right?
game,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
So they're locked into the 13. Again, tells you the state of the program.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of people really unhappy, and I think they should be unhappy with where this thing is. They're not heading towards a 1940s historic low, but it's probably going to be somewhere around that. I don't know the last time they won 9 games. The last time they won 8 was, I think, 1948 or something. So
well, and the motivation will be there. I mean, we were talking before the game. We said, what's the motivation going to be on Wednesday night? And I think because of today, now you do have that realistic shot to at least get to 10 wins. I mean, I know that sounds ridiculous, but 10 looks a little bit better than 9. It just, I don't know, mentally for the staff, the players, and again, that's not a ton of motivation, but I mean, it's something, and that's really all they've got, you know. I mean, I don't think this is a team that can win this tournament, but you know, they can certainly win 1, maybe 2, so we'll see. But yeah, at the end of the day, we'll be there Wednesday night, and looking forward to giving you guys more coverage.
Yeah, one last thing, Todd Golden was short, but I think was concise in his messaging here. He said Vanderbilt was the tougher team tonight. I think that was maybe the difference. You saw the offensive rebounding. Vanderbilt was tougher mentally at times by making free throws, shot 19 for 20. That's probably the difference tonight. Whether you want to look at the offensive rebounds, the free throws, the late heroics, Vanderbilt was the tougher, more mentally strong team today, and I don't think you can say that a lot. I think there's been a lot of games this year where they've gotten down and they're going, here we go again. But it's a long season, and when you have 2 veteran guards and it's their senior day, you almost can't fold, and they didn't today. So really nice win for Vanderbilt, their best of the season, which, again, says something. They beat an unranked team at home, and it's their best win of the season. Yeah. But really nice one for them, and we'll see what they can do in Nashville. I guess they're already in Nashville, but we'll see what they can do on Wednesday night. I don't have incredibly high hopes for them, but it'll be a really interesting week to come, and maybe a week and a half to come. We'll see, but thank you guys for watching. Thank you for giving Billy and I the opportunity to be here on a nightly basis. I know this was an interesting year for both of us professionally, but I'm sure we're both glad to have this opportunity and be able to call this what we do. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for your support all season, and we'll talk to you from Bridgestone Arena or Broadway, or
who knows? Might be a little loud, but we'll
bring
see.
the mic. we always forget the mic. We're gonna have to do it on Wednesday. Why not a Broadway show, Billy?
Why not? Wait, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. All right, thank you guys for watching. God bless. Peace.